Hundreds of people staged protests outside stores belonging to French supermarket giant Carrefour in Beijing and other mainland cities today, denouncing what they say is France's support for the Tibetan uprising and its negative attitude towards the Olympic Games. State media has appealed for calm and said people should channel their patriotism in more productive ways. Here's Leslie Tang.
Crowds gathered outside this Carrefour store in Beijing as mainlanders demonstrated against what they say is France's support for the uprising in Tibet and its negative attitude towards the Olympic Games. But it wasn't soon before police stepped in and quickly clamped down on the protests. The demonstrations outside stores belonging to the French supermarket giant come almost 2 weeks after activists tried to grab the Olympic torch from a disabled Chinese athlete during the relay stop in Paris. What were Paris police doing when rioters were trying to grab the torch? Why has our simple protest of patriotism been stopped, this man said. Hundreds of people took part in similar demonstrations across the mainland today, including in front of a Carrefour store in Wuhan. Protesters saw the chaos during the Paris leg of the relay as an insult and have called for a boycott of Carrefour stores on the mainland. Police were also out in force outside the French embassy in the capital as protesters staged a march there. Editorials in mainland newspapers have called for people to remain calm and to express their patriotism in a more rational and productive manner rather than through protests. Leslie Tang, ETV News.
While Olympic-related protests were staged in China, the torch made its way peacefully around the Thai capital Bangkok today amid tight security. The flame started its 10.5-kilometer run in Chinatown, closely guarded by about 2,000 police. Authorities were keen to prevent disruptions by demonstrators who have forced officials to change the relay route and put out the flame several times at previous stops. Protesters have been using the relay to lash out at China for its recent crackdown in Tibet and its human rights record. The torch will leave for Malaysia tonight. And as Hong Kong gears up for its chance to host the torch relay on the 2nd of May, Permanent Home Affairs Secretary Carrie Yao said yesterday's test run was a success, but warned the actual event may not be as smooth because of possible protests. She also said the government still has to finalise the route, but says no more major changes are expected. ATV's Anne Choi reports.
Roads across Hong Kong were closed off yesterday as mock torchbearers passed through the city's major scenic spots. Despite the potential for disruption, the rehearsal for the Olympic torch relay went smoothly, with no major traffic jams and no complaints. Permanent Home Affairs Secretary Carrie Yao was relieved it all went well. Speaking on a radio program today, Yao was pretty pleased with yesterday's trial run, although she admitted the actual event may not go as smoothly on the 2nd of May. While there were no major hiccups during the test run, Yao warned that activists could disrupt the relay on the day. Because of this, authorities will have more police on hand to deal with any trouble. But she also said the government has no blacklist to help immigration officers stop potential protesters from coming into Hong Kong. With yesterday's test run a success, Yao doesn't expect any more major changes, but said various departments will still have to evaluate the trial run and finalize the relay route over the next few days. When asked to comment about concerns that mainland torch guards would manhandle protesters during the relay, Yao insisted that any security issue would be dealt with by local authorities. There's still no word on who will carry the torch, but Yao said a list of names would be announced by the end of the month. Anne Choi, ATV News.
In other news, hundreds of employees who were laid off last night by collapsed budget airline Oasis have gone to the Labour Department seeking help to get their back wages. Former Oasis employees put in their claims for severance payments, and officials have promised to do all they can to help the
聖火喺巴黎傳遞嘅處理同反對藏獨。我哋記者一直喺多個城市留意住示威情況㗎，先同喺北京嘅陳耀偉傾下啦。耀偉啊，咁示威者咧係咪好克制㗎啦？公安又有冇阻止佢哋咧？
係劉子鳳啊，喺北京咧示威咧都可以話咧係和平進行㗎。喺一啲咧有示威嘅地方啦，都有好多嘅警車啦、警員同埋公安咧喺度戒備住。有一啲咧有示威地方嘅，有一啲地方啦，咁示威者咧嚟到現場咧就有警察咧即刻上前勸喻佢咧快啲離開㗎。至於今朝啦，喺法國駐華大使館外面咧有車隊咧喺度慢駛示威咧，警員就冇上前干預啦。
一早就有一批市民揸住貼上反對撞毒標語嘅汽車，去到法國駐華大使館外面兜圈。
香港記者。
大使館外駐守大批警察，佢哋喺車隊離開之後，隨即封鎖現場，亦都派出大批配備防暴裝備嘅武警到現場戒備。
看那邊的好不好？不要擋人路，好不好？
之後陸續有北京嘅市民帶住標語同埋橫額到達，佢哋都唔可以進入封鎖線內。而喺北京幾間家樂福超市門外，都有零星市民嚟到示威，呼籲北京人唔好去家樂福買嘢。佢哋隨即被公安人員帶走。經過勸喻之後，佢哋喺 T 恤外面套返外衣，和平散去。
中國人是十分友好的，我們願意和世界上所有的國家成為朋友，成為好朋友。
咁近日咧喺北京咧有網民就發起啦，呼籲大家一齊喺5月1號至到奧運期間呢係抵制家樂福，一齊唔好去嗰度買嘢㗎。有報道就話咧，家樂福呢幾日嘅生意額咧係減少咗㗎。我哋喺北京嘅報道唔得啦，跟翻俾兩位啊。
好，唔該晒陳宇偉。嗱，跟住咧同喺廣州嘅許作權傾下啦。係啦，許作權啊，嗱，廣州同深圳之前呢，有人喺網上面就發起示威啊，一度係有萬幾人登記話會去參加㗎。嗱，今日你去睇過嘅時候，示威個規模有冇預期當中咁大呢？
嗱，呂永順啊，規模咧就冇預期咁大㗎，好似喺廣州幾間嘅家樂福超市咁啊，都要成下晝3、4點咧先開始有10零個青年咧喺門口嗰度聚集，但係佢哋未有任何行動，公安咧已經上前向佢哋盤問啦，仲抄低咗佢哋一啲嘅個人資料㗎。班青年咧逗留咗大約10零分鐘咧就陸續離開。咁至於喺深圳方面呢，參加集會嘅人數就係比起廣州咧略為多翻少少㗎。好似喺梅林嘅家樂福超市門外啦，喺下晝4點開始咧就有大約30幾個嘅青年咧就喺門口嗰度聚集㗎。佢哋舉起一啲嘅標語咁，同埋咧嗌反撞毒嘅口號。成個過程啦，公安都冇上前制止佢哋㗎。公安只係勸佢哋啦唔好阻塞附近嘅交通。班青年咧喺現場逗留咗大約半個鐘咧，就陸續散開㗎啦。咁而呢一間嘅家樂福超市咧，亦都照常營業，公安咧亦都未見有其他嘅行動㗎。咁講翻啦，廣州同埋深圳呢度嘅集會啦，就主要都係由一啲網民發起㗎。咁我哋同一啲搞手傾過，咁佢哋都話啦，就係佢哋收到嘅報名嘅踴躍嘅程度啦，比佢哋預期咧係踴躍好多好多㗎。咁佢哋擔心咧就係會有人咧係混入其中咧，就係搞事啦，甚至乎咧係有啲不愉快嘅事件發生。咁所以咧佢哋琴日開會之後咧就決定係要取消㗎。但係結果咧，今日都有少數嘅網民啦係自發啦去到現場示威。呢度嘅報道咧，暫時講到呢度先啦，交翻俾兩位啊。
好，唔該晒。喺安徽合肥示威遊行啦，連續幾日都冇停過。吳子文呢，而家就喺合肥㗎。子文啊，最新嘅情況又係點呢？
係啊，咁我哋嘅採訪隊咧，而家啱啱就趕到嚟啦，安徽合肥市呢一度㗎。我哋咧就去到啦合肥市裏面國救廣場裏面嘅家樂福嘅門口㗎，可以見到咧，起碼仲有2、3千嘅人呢，係喺家樂福門口聚集咧，而且係唔肯散去㗎。咁佢哋咧仲更加喺呢一度發起遊行。咁見到帶頭嘅人呢，都係一啲比較後生嘅年輕人啦。咁佢哋都手持國旗啦，亦都係大叫口號㗎。咁佢哋咧就話要抵制法國貨同埋支持北京奧運。咁現場咧其實係嚟咗好多嘅公安㗎，呢一度咧6條行車線都已經封閉㗎啦。咁就我哋嚟到嘅時候，亦都見唔到有任何公安阻止。咁公安咧只係圍晒喺家樂福嘅門口。咁門口咧亦都有10幾架嘅泥頭車擺咗喺度。咁成個國救廣場咧亦都係唔營業㗎啦。咁裏面咧除咗有家樂福之外啦，仲有其他嘅商店啦同埋食肆㗎。不過成個廣場咧都係俾公安係包圍住。咁啦，除咗喺廣場以外啦，一啲喺天橋嘅高位啦，亦都有好多公安喺度看守住，但係佢哋咧暫時都未有任何嘅行動。咁我哋咧而家咧就同啱啱咧就同附近嘅一啲參加遊行嘅人傾過啦。咁佢哋就話啦，係啦，國際奧運勝火喺法國傳遞期間呢受到阻礙啦，佢哋係覺得好唔開心同埋好憤怒㗎。所以咧佢哋話咧，佢哋要一齊出嚟啦，係支持啦北京奧運啦，同埋抵制法國貨㗎。咁暫時啦喺安徽合肥嘅報道係咁多，先交翻俾有線新聞中心。
好，唔該晒。 至於喺武漢，亦都有大約1000人聚集和平示威。喺市中心武聖路嘅家樂福分店，由朝早8點開始，已經有大約1000人聚集。呢班年青人帶住反藏獨嘅標語，到挨晚都未散去。公安呢就只係用擴音器叫群眾唔好逗留太耐，亦都要留意有冇滋事分子混入示威群眾裏面。喺上海呢，亦都有人到家樂福抗議㗎，吳子文喺上海報導。
大約10幾個請願人士去到上海浦東外國人聚居嘅社區內嘅家樂福門口請願，佢哋拉起支持奧運、反對藏獨嘅橫額，話抗議奧運聖火傳到法國期間一度受阻。
我也特別生氣，如果我在現場，我想我該怎麼辦？也許我會奮不顧身的，我也會為我們國家付出，哪怕要犧牲我自己。
有人自製傳單派俾嚟買嘢嘅人，又呼籲民眾去遊行。
不能支持奧運嗎？
不過冇耐已經有便衣公安到場阻止。
我跟你講啊，我要警告你嘛，這裡有死一些造成秩序混亂，我就找到你，好不好？沒問題的。聽見沒有？由此造成這裡的混亂局面，由你們負責，就不一定是代表你。
亦唔准我哋採訪同收起示威者嘅橫額。聚集嘅人越嚟越多，有人認為佢哋咁做係愛國嘅行為，公安唔應該阻止。但係公安就強行帶走咗3個人。有路過嘅法律系大學生見到，覺得警察冇權咁做，但一樣被帶走。喺呢一間家樂福門口聚集嘅請願人士留咗唔夠個幾鐘頭，已經俾大批嘅公安趕走。部分人更加被帶上警車，帶返警署協助調查。有線電視記者吳子文喺上海報導。
人民日報同新華社發表評論文章，話將自己手頭嘅事情辦好就係愛國。人民日報話啦，國人最近表達出嘅強烈愛國熱情，令人動容，彌足珍貴。但係喺奮擊之後，更加應該冷靜思考，更理性咁分析。最重要嘅係將自己嘅事情做好，將愛國熱情凝聚成社會穩定、國家發展同民族振興嘅共同意志。而新華社嘅文章就話，我哋要百倍珍惜呢一種激情，將對國家嘅熱愛轉化為做好本職工作、搞好經濟建設、辦好北京奧運嘅自覺行動。各位，我哋而家先休息一陣，翻嚟會報道。奧運聖火喺曼谷傳遞。
本地甲組聯賽，公民贏華家堡4-1，南華對大埔就因為天雨腰斬。
Hong Kong wasn't alone in feeling the effects of Niroguri. Those looking for a little rest and relaxation in Macau, like these school children, ended up stranded there. Macau raised the typhoon signal number 8 warning this afternoon, forcing ferry operators to suspend services to and from Hong Kong. Well, the storm swept into Hainan Island overnight, forcing hundreds of thousands to flee their homes, causing blackouts and stranding thousands more at the airport. Several members of a group of stranded fishermen have been rescued, but many more are still missing. ATV's Leslie Tang reports.
Niroguri is the first typhoon to threaten China this year, and it slammed into Wenchang City on Hainan Island at about 10:30 last night, weakening into a tropical storm, but still packing winds of up to 108 kilometers per hour. The city was plunged into darkness as the storm cut off power supplies. At least 120,000 residents were forced to evacuate low-lying areas. Thousands of passengers were stranded overnight at the airport in the island's capital, Haikou, after at least 76 flights were cancelled. Scientists have blamed global warming for the extreme weather. A group of 56 fishermen went missing after their boats were damaged by the storm, but dozens of them managed to swim to reefs where they were rescued. About 20,000 boats have been ordered back to port. Leslie Tang, ETV News.